The only way to ease Western paranoia over Russia is if Russia collapses entirely. This is actually the hope that many in the West have expressed with the current conflict between Russia and Ukraine. They believe that Russia's invasion will lead to its own collapse, and that it will eventually split into a number of different states, which is what happened after the Soviet Union collapsed. To understand what's at stake, we have to learn about this man, Halford Mackinder. He was a British geographer and politician, and is considered the forefather of geopolitics and geostrategy. His article, The Geopivot of History, is one of the most influential documents of the last 150 years and advances his heartland theory. As a geographer and politician, Mackinder saw the world differently. In his mind, geography and politics converged into one. In his theory, he divides the world into three islands: the world island, the offshore islands, and the outlying islands. The largest landmass is clearly the world island. With most of the world's resources and population situated in this landmass, the world island is key to acquiring power on Earth. Within the world island is the heartland, and within the heartland is the flat terrain of the European plain, aka Eastern Europe. With the advancement of transport technology via railroads, Mackinder believed there was a growing opportunity for a major power to transport troops swiftly through the key areas of Eastern Europe and the heartland. This also meant that there was a growing opportunity to gain control over the world island as a whole, and therefore over the world as a whole. Mackinder's theory is famously summarized as follows: who rules East Europe commands the heartland. Who rules the heartland commands the world island. Who rules the world island commands the world. This theory became the bedrock of the Soviet Union and Russia's foreign policy for the last century. Situated perfectly in the heartland, Russia considered Mackinder's theory as their destiny. But Mackinder wasn't trying to inspire Russia's foreign policy. He was trying to warn Western Europe, specifically the British. Mackinder insisted that Britain's reliance on sea power would eventually become a weakness, as improved land transport would open up the heartland. Mackinder's theory was never fully proven, however, as no one power has ever controlled all three regions at the same time. Still, this theory has influenced both Russian and Western thinking for some time. It has therefore placed incredible significance on Eastern Europe. For Russia, however, it isn't just about power over the world, it's about securing its border effectively. Russia's size and geographical position is a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it flanks Western Europe and is not sandwiched between aggressive, hyper-competitive European states. On the other, it does have a massive western border of flatlands that stretches for over 2,000 kilometers. And near its western border is the Russian core. This is where 80% of Russia's population lives. It is the most demographically dense region of Russia, and this is where the majority of its economic activity takes place. So while Russia has massive borders to protect, its most important region to worry about is the western border. This places even greater significance on control over Eastern Europe. Russia has to invest a significant amount of GDP on border defense. And with advancement in military technology, Russia has a never-ending commitment to innovating and advancing its military strength. As NATO expands into Eastern Europe through nations like Poland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and potentially Ukraine, Russia has to expand military bases and defense capabilities to contend with advanced artillery, rocket systems, nuclear weapons, fighter jets and bombers, drones, tanks, and land troop invasions. So now you can understand why Ukraine is so important to both Russia and the West. For Russia, there is a geopolitical need to secure its most important border. And for the West, there is the threat of giving Russia control over the heartland and potentially the world island. Plus, Russia has an abundance of very important resources. So there is a heightened sense of paranoia centered around an unproven theory and mistrust of one another's intentions.